Hey, my name is Shelly, and welcome to my April TBR. I think back in February, I did a spring TBR because I'm a mood reader through and through, and it's very difficult for me to narrow down what I want to read for the month. And you know, sometimes I'll even start off the month feeling a certain way and then completely change genres halfway through the month. So it's very difficult for me to do TBRs, but honestly, since I did my spring TBR, I've already changed moods. So I just figured let's just do an April TBR and start fresh. Some of the books I'm going to talk about were on my spring TBR, but most of the books are new and I'm very excited to talk about them. Okay, so let's talk about what I'm currently reading. Currently, I'm reading Dead House Gates by Stephen Erickson. This is the second book in the Malazan series. I'm reading this at a snail's pace, like incredibly slow. I'm actually listening to the audiobook, so I'm listening to maybe a chapter a day or every couple of days, just slowly absorbing the information because I want to understand as much as possible. I want to get all the fine details as much as possible. So that's why I'm kind of reading it in between all of the other things that I'm going to talk about. So yes, this is going to be an ongoing project. And like I said in my last weekly wrap up, I'm going to talk about this when I finish it. So this will probably be the last you see of this for maybe a month or two. The second book that I'm reading is actually an ebook that I'm reading from KU, and that is Captive, Adara Nimara. It's book 2.5 in the Ancestor Saga by Laurie Holmes. This will be a spoiler for my March wrap up, but I just finished it, absolutely loved it, and I will talk about it in more depth in my wrap-up video to come soon. So those are my current reads. The next book I'm going to talk about is going to be probably picked up by the time this video airs, and that is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. We are doing a buddy read of this on my Discord. I will link it all down below. All of the buddy reads starts April 1st. This will be a month-long buddy read where basically everybody's kind of taking it slow and starting whenever. A few of us are starting this week, a few other people are starting next week. So it just, you know, we're all taking it slow. It's just very casual. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking about this very popular book. This is a dark fantasy surrounding a young woman who's studying magic and is a mage at a university which is for magic and mages. It's a very exclusive university, and I believe that there is a lot of discussion and examination regarding racism, classism, and, you know, a lot of stuff that kind of gets swept under the rug. So I'm really excited to pick this up. So another book that I mentioned in my spring TBR is Magic Shifts by Lona Andrews. I finally got an audiobook for this through my library. I'm so excited, and I'm buddy reading this with my friends on Discord as well. We are slowly making our way through this series, and hopefully we will finish it out by the summertime, because I believe this is the 8th book in the series. This is an urban fantasy with a high fantasy backdrop almost, and it is a lot of fun. I really am having a lot of fun, and it's got a lot of humor, a lot of heart, and a lot of amazing characters. So I'm really excited to get back to this world, finally, after so long. Another book that I did mention in my spring TBR is Alien Clay by H.N. Tarkovsky. This is a standalone sci-fantasy, but more on the sci-fi side. It's been a really long time since I've read an H.N. Tarkovsky book. I really do miss his writing. He is like a chameleon when it comes to writing. Each story is almost written in a different way. He's very experimental, and I really appreciate that. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into this, especially since it's a standalone. Honestly, I need more short series and standalones in my life, so I'm really excited to jump into this, and I will be listening to the audiobook. The next book is the last book that I mentioned in my spring TBR, and that is Legacy of Brightwash by Crystal Matar. This is like a grim, dark, steampunk kind of murder mystery fantasy series, and honestly I've been meaning to get to this for a really long time, aiming to get to this in the beginning of April, so hopefully very soon. I'm very excited. So this is the part where I'm going to be talking about books that I haven't talked about before or I haven't put on a TBR yet. So the first one is The Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and this is the first book in the Emily Wilde series. I was very hesitant to pick up this book when it first came out, and a lot of people were going like crazy over it, mainly because I did hear that it's very cozy, and I'm not a cozy reader. I really am not. But I am trying to read more Canadian authors, and I was dumbfounded when I found out that Heather Fawcett is actually a Canadian author. I had a coupon at my local bookstore, and I just grabbed this at a really great price. If you missed my last reading update, I did talk about how I finally got glasses. So now I can actually finally read physical books. I was heavily depending on audiobooks and my e-reader, which, like, honestly, if I show you the font, it was huge. The font to my e-reader was laughable. I'm so excited to get back to physically reading because honestly, that's the way I love consuming books the most. The next book that I'm very eager to get to is Enemy Tribe by Laurie Holmes. This is the third book in the Ancestor saga. Again, I mentioned it briefly in the beginning of the video. This is the third book in the series, and I need to get back into it. I need to find out what happens because the ending of the second book was a cliffhanger, and yeah, I just need to know. I'm trying to complete series, so if a series is working for me, I'm going to prioritize that over anything else because honestly, I have a lot of ongoing series that I just need to, close the lid on and wrap that up and say I finished it. So I'm going to prioritize this series and hopefully finish it up this spring. So the next book that I'm going to talk about is very, very new to my TBR. It was just brought to my attention by Esme. If you watch a bunch of YouTubers, you probably saw everybody saying the same thing. And that is The Raven Cycle by Antonia Hogston. It was compared to some pretty heavy lifting series that we all really love. And I believe this is like a huge mashup of different genres. It was compared to Rook and the Rose. It was compared to Dandelion Dynasty. It was compared to The Wind and Wind Flames. And there was another one, I can't remember what it was, but that was a big one as well. And those are all series that I really do like. But I'm not sure if this one's going to work for me because it is, one, in a school setting, and two, I think there's a competition theme to it, but I'm trusting Esme won't leave me astray, and she said this is her new favorite, so honestly I gotta go with that. I'm going to be buddy reading this with a bunch of people on somebody else's Discord, and we're all very excited to get to this. I believe the release date is... My internet is so slow, it's taking me forever. So this actually doesn't come out until April 17th. And so I have a little while to read some of the books that I already mentioned. I'm really excited to see what this book is about because it seems very interesting. It's got a lot of things going on. So yeah, I'm excited. The next two are maybes, and that is if I have time to get to these because honestly, I have piled on a lot of books, especially physical books because I'm trying to get back into physically reading. And because I'm a slow reader, that takes a lot of time. So anyways, the last two are absolute maybes, but these are also good palate cleansers, so might be more likely that I get to them. Okay, so the first one is the third book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinneman. I was able to get the audiobook for this one through Audible. It was on sale. Audible has been putting out the entire series like month by month. Each book in a series is on sale. So honestly, I'm slowly collecting the series and I'm so excited to get back to this lit RPG, but holy crap, this is a big book. I was not expecting it to be this chunky. I talked about the series in my February wrap-up, and I did mention how I think it would work for a lot of different people if they just gave it a try. Honestly, the audiobook is the way to go. Even people who don't like audiobooks still think that the audiobook is fantastic. The last book is a huge, huge maybe. I got this through Audible. Audible was having a sale, so I just grabbed it. And also it is another Canadian author, so that's kind of what piqued my interest. And that is The Butcher and the Blackbird by Brianne Weaver. And this is the first book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Unlike the other ones, I don't think this is fantasy. This one is more of a dark romantic comedy. So I'm not afraid to admit that I have a love for dark humor. It's not something I usually lean towards, but every once in a while, I just need it. I'm so distracted. I'm filming on my phone and notifications are just flashing up through Discord. Apparently there's a great conversation going on that I'm missing. This one is actually about two serial killers that kind of become friends, and then they kind of compete with each other to see who can kill more people. I'm assuming it's kind of more like a Dexter kind of situation where they're killing bad people, because I honestly can't see this being a humorous thing if they're just killing innocent people. So that's what I'm hoping, and I think this is also a romance. So it starts off as friendship and then honestly moves on to romance. So I don't know what to make of this, but I did hear it's kind of silly, a little eccentric, and honestly, I kind of need a little bit of that in my life. So I'm kind of excited to get to that. we made it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to comment, but you don't have anything to say, leave a, my goodness, plant emoji, because it is spring and finally the plants are budding outside. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.